So, why should we begin to consider the possibility of the sun being conscious now? One reason is that there's a crisis in the very heart of science, as I show in my book, The Science Delusion, where I look at the 10 dogmas of contemporary science and how we can go beyond them. One of the biggest crises is the existence of human consciousness. Because until the 19th century, most scientists were content to live in a dualistic universe. Science dealt with matter, which is non-conscious. Religion dealt with consciousness, God, angels, and human minds, especially morality. But in the 19th century, growing numbers of people didn't like this dualism. They thought having two principles was too many. We should just have one. One school of thought said, well, it's all mind or consciousness, and that's the idealist school in philosophy, which was very influential in the early 19th century. But the school that became predominant as the 19th century wore on, especially within science, was materialism. Materialism takes Cartesian dualism, this twofold model, and says there's no such thing as spirit. God and angels simply don't exist, and human minds are nothing but the activity of human brains. It's all material, and it's all basically non-conscious. Well, that succeeded in getting rid of God and religion, and was essentially an atheistic doctrine, which appealed to atheists, of course, and still does. But it did leave the problem of human consciousness. How can human consciousness exist if all matter is non-conscious and everything's made of non-conscious matter? The very existence of human consciousness is an appalling embarrassment for materialist science, which is why it's called the hard problem. It's called the hard problem because philosophers of mind have been trying to explain it away for decades and have failed. Some say that it's nothing but an epiphenomenon, a byproduct of the nerve activity in the brain, but it doesn't do anything. Others say it's just another way of talking about brain activity, and we'll soon be able to forget all this subjective nonsense, the folk psychology, and just have descriptions in terms of neurophysiology. And the third school of thought say, well, consciousness is nothing but an illusion produced by brains. The problem is that doesn't explain it because illusion is itself a mode of consciousness. So we keep going round and round for decades in the philosophy of mind, and this is the official view, the materialist view in most universities. And the fact that no one can come up with a persuasive answer is why it's called the hard problem.